Good afternoon, Minneapolis. It's great to be here with you this afternoon. You know, Minneapolis is a city known for its resilience, innovation, and strong sense of community. I'm excited to listen to your concerns and ideals because your voices are what shape the future of our nation. Now, I'm going to touch on a few key points of what we've done over the past 4 years under my administration, and then we'll break off into more of informal Q&A. But I want to go over some of the things that I think are missing on the campaign trail. Um, and that's one thing that's disappointed me this cycle is all I'm hearing on the campaign trail are slanderous comments. Maybe that's a little bit strong of a word, but strong comments and attacks on one another. Not any talk about what I'm going to do. Oh, I've heard talk about being a dictator on day one. No, no, let's don't talk about that. Uh, that's not the issue. I want to talk about what you're going to do on day one, hour one of your administration. Today, I'm going to outline to you what we've accomplished in the past 4 years and what we're going to do in the next 4 years. You know, when you run for the presidency, it's not just to say, I'm going to be a dictator on day one and slam through a bunch of executive orders that are going to change the course of this country. That's not what a president does. Sure, a president will set their agenda, and I get that, I understand that. But to say that you're going to be a dictator on day one, no, you're going to be a president of the United States of America, this country, on day one. You know, let's first talk about the economy and jobs. You know, the economy, you know that many families are still recovering from the pandemic. Its impact on in its impact. My administration is committed to creating more jobs and supporting small businesses and ensuring that every person has the opportunity to thrive. You know, and think about that. Think about where we were 4 years ago, almost to the date 15.5% unemployment. People were locked down. Hope was gone in this country. We had despair. And the future was not looking bright. You know, there's that old 80s song I remember growing up as a kid. The future's so bright, you got to wear shades. Well, 4 years ago, we didn't have that brightness. We didn't need a pair of shades. People were scared. And look where we are right now. Look where we've been in 4 years. Unemployment now is 3.5%, not 15. The number of jobs that are available to every American is 1.6 jobs available for every person in this country. Think about it. Every person in this building here this afternoon can have 1.5 jobs. Now, I understand and I get it that we'll never have a zero unemployment rate. That can't happen. It would be nice to have every person in this country who's able to work employed. But what's happened since the pandemic, what has occurred is when this pandemic happened, we had to prop up the economy, and that was through pandemic unemployment assistance, and that was giving out money to Americans so they could survive. What happened though when the economy reopened and people returned to work? There were people who never returned to the workforce. They got comfortable in getting that government handout every month. They got comfortable in doing that and gave up their future. Gave up their future. I know we were all scared. I get it. I understand. But look where we are right now, 4 years into this. We have vaccines. The pandemic is in the rearview mirror. It's time to get back to work. One of the things I want to do in this next term is to revamp our unemployment system. It's been taken advantage of for too long in our country, and it's time for that to stop. And under my administration, it will stop. I have a program called Enhanced Unemployment. And what it simply is this is how this works. You will be required, if you're on unemployment assistance, you'll be required to have a minimum of 5 job interviews per week to continue to get benefits. Why is that stake so high? Because when you're unemployed, and I'm coming from experience here. I have been through countless what they referred as job transitions back in the day. I've been through countless of those. Probably, if I remember, at least 5. And one of the times I was going through it, Andrea, my wife, loved her to death, but she said, "Richard, your new job is to find a new job." So this afternoon, I'm challenging every able-bodied American. Your new job is to find a new job. And we're investing in infrastructure, green energy, and technology to build a stronger, more sustainable economy. There's been a lot of talk about green energy, a lot of talk about our technology advancements. Let me address green energy. A lot of people who are running have set out these benchmarks, 10, 20, 30 years. We're going to convert to all EV vehicles in our country. Well, let me say this, and if you follow me on the campaign trail, you've heard me say this. Under my administration, we will not convert to all EVs in this country until the infrastructure is ready in this country. And I can tell you today, we're far from ready. I often speak with pride about my hometown of DeSoto, Texas, a city of about 36,000 citizens, 36,500 citizens, close to it. There may be more charging stations, but I know of one charging station in that city at a restaurant with 5 ports. For 36,000 people, that's not going to work. We will convert to EV vehicles, but we will not convert until the infrastructure is ready in this country. Healthcare is another critical issue every American faces. Every American deserves access to affordable, quality health care. We're working to lower prescription drug prices, expand health care coverage, and improve services for mental health. The prescription prices are unheard of. A good example was somebody back in Texas who had a prescription for not a drug or not a medicine that she needed, medicine that she wanted, a medicine that she needed. And you know what the price of that prescription was? $700. $700 was the cost. And she was a person that did not, her salary wasn't great. I mean, she made money. She was out there working along with the rest of us, but her salary was not great. But she had to support her family. But she had to choose between supporting her family and affording the medicine she needs. How is that fair when Big Pharma is reaping in billions of dollars in profits? Now, I won't mention the commercial, but there's been a commercial that I haven't seen lately on TV. Maybe me talking about it has had an impact. But this commercial talked about a certain drug, and I'm not going to mention the name. But this gentleman comes on and says that he shows the drugstore price of this prescription was close to $400, but the generic version was like $38. Why can't every prescription cost $38? Really all we're paying for is the name. You're paying for branding when it comes to these drugs. You should just be paying for the drugs. It doesn't cost hundreds of dollars to manufacture a drug that's been available in the market for years. And usually what happens is when the patent or the trademark expires, it's when that drug's price is lower. Under my administration, I firmly support the Affordable Health Care Act, and I want to have every American being able to afford affordable health care. Affordable health care should be, it is a right, not a privilege in our country. You know, education is the foundation of our future. We need to support our teachers and provide our children with resources they need to succeed. From early childhood to affordable college, we are focused on making sure every student has the chance to achieve their dreams. Education is so important in our country. I don't think we realize how important it is and what an important job a teacher has. I know personally, being married to one for almost 30 years, that I'm very proud of. She's just finished up her paper for nationwide certification, and that was no easy chore. I have to tell you, for the last week or so, I've been letting her do her thing, and as I've been going off doing my thing here. But that's how important it is. That's how important I feel it is to her. A lot of people have a misconception of what teaching is. They see the 9-month job. They see the 7:45 to 3:15 schedules. They see summer off. But what they don't realize is it's more than a 40-hour-a-week job. You know, it's more than 3:45. I'm out for the weekend. See you. Have a good one. It's leaving at 3:45 sometimes. It's going home. It's getting on the computer. It's writing. It's doing report cards. It's doing grades. Matter of fact, yesterday, back in Washington, you know what my wife did? Report cards on a Sunday afternoon. This is what it takes to be successful. It takes hours. It's not only the report cards. It is the programs. It is the meetings. It is the professional development. That's another thing too. Teachers who are not aspiring teachers who are not in this position think, oh, it's you get the summers off. I know back home in Texas at the district she works at, you're required to have 25 PD hours for the summer. So, yeah, it's a little bit of work. It's a little bit of work, but don't you think that your children deserve that extra work? You know, every morning, and I'm going to set example of times. It may vary, but every morning about 7:30, you drop off your most prized possession to school. And it is your hope that when you pick them back up in the car line in the afternoon, that they are smarter than when they were 8 hours earlier. It is the hope that the teacher they have has the education, the foundation, and the knowledge to make them smarter. Under my education plan called Back to Basics, what we're going to do is we're going to teach the core subjects in school. The ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, the good, the bad, the ugly of history. They deserve to know what bad things have happened in this country. Did slavery happen in our country? Absolutely. Did we do wrong things? Absolutely we did. I cannot come up here this afternoon and tell you that in over 200 years of history, the United States did everything perfect. We didn't. But we have to teach them that we made mistakes in order for them to prevent future mistakes. You learned from your past. One of the things I'm proposing is an increase in teacher pay to make it where teachers make a livable wage. Because oftentimes, if you look at the statistics, and it does vary by state a little bit, but if you look at statistics, Teachers are living on the poverty level. Some have extra jobs. Why is that the case? Why is that the case? So, under Back to Basics, we're going to get teachers increased pay, and we're going to get increased funding to schools so that they can do the right, so they can have the right things to do what they need to do to teach our kids the proper stuff in school. It is so important. It is so important because in these classrooms are the next generation of Americans. In these classrooms, we have engineers, future engineers, scientists. In your kindergarten class, there may be the person who cures cancer. In your sixth grade class, there may be a person who's the first person to discover a new planet. In your high school class, there may be a student that is the first person to visit a newly discovered planet. How great is that? How great is that? But the only way they can achieve these dreams is to proper education. Proper education is the gateway to the future. And under my administration, it is the goal for every American to have a proper education. On climate change is a challenge we can ignore, and we're taking bold steps to reduce carbon emissions. Like I mentioned earlier, promoting renewable energy and protecting our natural resources. Together, we can ensure a healthier planet for future generations. And we really can. If we work together and we forget about these ridiculous goals that we set. You know, we got candidates out there now in this cycle, 10 years, 20 years. We're going to do it, but we're going to do it when we're ready to do it. Community safety. Let's talk about that for a bit. Every person deserves to feel safe in their neighborhoods. We're working to reform the justice system, support law enforcement, and invest in community programs that prevent violence and build trust. I remember growing up as a kid back in Dallas. We had this program called Operation Get Involved. It was sponsored by the Dallas Police Department and some of the community organizations back in Dallas. But what it did was it engaged the community and police. It wasn't an adversary relationship. We had dialogue. And one of the cool things I remember as a kid was they flew the Dallas police helicopter out to our school one evening and landed it and showed us showed us helicopter. I thought that was pretty cool, loving aviation. But they also, one of the things we did is we took a field trip to a police station. And you saw where people ended up that did wrong. We need to improve the relationship between the police and communities. There shouldn't be a fear of harm coming from the police department to our community. We should be able to teach our students and teach everyone that when they need assistance, help us a phone call away. I really want to thank you very much for the time we spent here this afternoon. I know we're going to talk about a few things here off camera, but and I just want to thank you in advance for sharing your thoughts with me. Your input is invaluable, and it's an honor to serve you as your president. Together we can overcome any challenge and create a brighter future for all Americans. And there's nothing at all within our capacity that we can't do as a country if we do it together. There shouldn't be a difference in color. There shouldn't be a difference in color. It doesn't matter what color we are. We should all work together. All work together. Because if we do that, there's nothing that we can't accomplish in this country if we work together. May God bless you. May God bless our troops. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you, Minneapolis. Thank you very, very much.